These are your 2025 NBA All-Star starters. The All-Star starters were announced today. I don't know if you could see, but I am wearing a Warrior shirt in honor of the team who is hosting the All-Star game. So let's talk about the starters. So in the East, we have Giannis, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, and Kat. And in the West, we have Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron, and Jokic. I'm not gonna lie, I am satisfied with everybody who is a starter. I think when it comes to the reserves, the West, it's going to be a tougher time, picking people, or rather who's going to be a snub. But I feel like for the starters, the West was actually more set in stone than the East. Or rather, it was easier to determine who you knew was going to start. It was obvious it was going to be Shai and Steph. There really wasn't any competition, and I'm going to show you the breakdown in a second to show you that it wasn't even really close. And then same with LeBron, Jokic, and KD. Wemby I knew would put up a fight, and I knew he had a chance, so that was the one question mark. But I was pretty sure it was going to be those three as well. Giannis, Jason Tatum, and Kat were also locks. I was pretty confident in that. I had said that I thought LaMelo might start. I wasn't confident or guaranteeing that he would start, but I thought that he might have started. One, because we saw the fan voting. Two, just because of all his statistics and how he's been playing. I thought that he was going to be ranked a lot higher by the media and the players. But I am really happy for Jalen Brunson because he deserves to start. So I am very happy with that decision. I just am a little bit surprised, but a good surprise. So let's do the breakdown now. As you can see, Giannis was ranked #1 amongst the players, the fans, and the media. So he was getting in no matter what, and he was clearly a starter. Jason Tatum ranked #2 among players and the fans, and #1 in the media as well. He tied with Giannis, and so that's why he also got the start. And then Kat ranked #3 in every category, player, fan, and media. So that is, again, why he got the start, because it was pretty concise and clear on who was going to start. All the votes said what it said. But here's where it gets interesting in the East. As you can see, Donovan Mitchell ranked #1 amongst the players and #1 in the media, and then obviously #2 in the fan vote, so that gave him the edge to be #1. Here's the interesting part, because as you can see, Jalen Brunson ranked #3 in the fan rating, and I think that's what put him over the edge. Now hear me out for a second. If you go back and look at the standings of the voting from the fan rankings, Jalen Brunson was 4th, just slightly behind Damian Lillard. He ranked #2 amongst the players and #2 amongst the media, which I think is pretty obvious, and that is why he also got the nod. As you could see for LaMelo, he was #1 amongst the fan ranking. And if you know, the fan ranking is 50% of the votes. Players is 25% and media is 25%. So LaMelo got the best on the majority of the votes. But amongst the media, he was #7th, which really brings down his average. I'll have to calculate this after, but again, even with that #7 for LaMelo, as you can see, he's only 0.5 behind Jalen Brunson. If Jalen Brunson does not pass Damian Lillard, which he must have done in the last couple of days, seriously, it was that close, maybe he doesn't start. Again, I gotta figure out how the, weighted score goes. I gotta calculate it. Remember, fan vote is 50%. So if he got a 4 instead of a 3, I don't know if he's starting, so shout out to the fans for voting him in. Now we go to the West, where Jokic, similar to Giannis, 1-1-1 amongst all the, categories, so he's clearly starting. You could see LeBron ranked #2 amongst the players, the fans, and #4 in the media, so that gave him enough to also start. It wasn't that close either. But here's where it was really close. Look at Wemby's score and look at KD's score. 3.25 to 3.5. Similar to LaMelo, KD's media ranking was lower, or kind of much lower, than the player ranking, for example, where he tied with LeBron for #2. And while Wemby ranked #4 amongst the players, he was #2 in the media. So it was really close. Wemby was super close to starting, but KD edged him out. And then for the guards, as you can see, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 1-1-1, wasn't close. He was clearly starting, the clear-cut leader. But as you can see for Steph Curry, it also was not close. He ranked #2 in the players, #2 in the fans, and #2 in the media. This was not close amongst the guards in the West. Shai is 3 whole points ahead of anybody else, obviously besides Steph. And then Steph is still 2 whole points ahead of Doncic and Anthony Edwards. Now, would it have been different if Doncic was healthy right now? Maybe, maybe not. The reason I say that is because he got ranked 6th amongst the players. And I don't know if the players are factoring in his injury or not, because 6th is pretty low amongst the players, because you would think Luka, who is regarded as, a top 5, top 10 player in the world, however you rank him, and he's always almost leading the league in scoring, doing what he does. Number 6? So again, I don't know if the players were taking his injury into account. I don't know if the media took his injury into account because they ranked him 4. But as you could see, it really was not close for the guards in the West. Like, that was the most clear-cut race besides like Jokic and Giannis.